Well, what is a Christmas season without watching at least one Hallmark Christmas movie? You know, they're really popular. What do you think of them? Do you like them? Well, they are so popular that they're pumping out a lot of movies each year and they get great ratings. And there's one person who could probably recite every line to many of those movies. His name is Jeff Beesley. He's a movie director and he's directed 7 Christmas movies for Hallmark and Lifetime. He's originally from Moose Jaw, now based in Winnipeg, where a lot of these movies are shot. Before we get to Jeff, here's a look at one of the movies he's directed recently. It's called Project Christmas Wish.
Back on my show today is everyone's favorite Christmas elf.
Thank you, Mike. Project Christmas Wish begins today.
Yes. Do you want to make a wish? I want my dad to be in love again.
Max wants a real Christmas.
Me too. I just don't know if I'm ready.
We just have to keep our hearts open.
Don't you want to make my Christmas wish come true?
Amanda Schull and Travis Van Winkle star Project Christmas Wish. Only on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
And with us is the director of that fine movie, Jeff Beesley. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Costa. How are you?
I'm very well. It's really nice to see you again. Best of the season to you.
You too.
This movie here called Project Christmas Wish is going to be airing on the W Network here in Canada, and that's coming up on the later this month. But what does it feel like to see your work get to air finally?
It's on the 26th on the W Network in Canada, and on the 20th in the United States. It's great. I mean, these movies are very fast and furious. They all have a very short window of production, a 3-week pre-production, a 3-week shoot, and a 3-week post, and they're on air. So kind of reminds me of my old Corner Gas series days. We would, produce them very fast.
But what accounts for their popularity? Because a lot of people watch them.
Hope. A theme that people, I think, really are looking for these days. I mean, I can't wait to, the numbers already for the movies that have had aired have been like unbelievable, like 6-7 million people. It's beating out, NBC, CBS, ABC on Saturday nights. I think it just goes to show that people have had a really tough 8 months, and these movies sort of represent something aspirational and hopeful.
And you're on the set there watching all this. You've done 7 in the last couple of years. And I'm wondering what it's like working on those movies for you as a movie director.
It's great. It's been, one of the highlights of my career is getting involved with these movies. I mean, we try to have the same sentiment and spirit of love that the movies have on screen as we do off screen. I mean, the crew I work with here are a lot of the same people over and over. I've got a really tight team that I consider like brothers and sisters, and we really look after each other.
And what does that mean
unlike
for you?
Some of the big American shows that come through town that shoot 15, 16 hours a day for 6 or 7 weeks, we shoot 8, 9, 10 hours a day. People get to go home to their families and, really enjoy the work.
But what does that mean, having that family feeling? Obviously, decent hours. What does that do to the quality of the movie that you're putting together as a result, do you think?
Well, I think anytime you make someone feel a part of something, make them feel special, make them feel that they're worthy and that the work they're doing is meaningful. My sets don't really have a hierarchy on them, although I'm the director. I consider myself one of the crew. I know everyone's name and treat everyone with, dignity and respect, and I think they in turn work hard for me.
So tell me a little bit about this. These movies seem to be churned out pretty quickly, but the photography is amazing, the lighting, the music. How do you put that all together?
Well, as I said, I have an amazing team. Mike Mulhall is my production designer. I've done 6 movies with him now. We both did a movie called Radio Christmas for Lifetime. That was both of our first. And over the course of these movies, we've just tried to improve and, evolve our style. I think when you watch one of my films, it looks somewhat different, quite a bit different than others, and I'm proud of that. I think the other thing that's different about my films is because I'm a comedy director by trade, directing Little Mosque on the Prairie and Corner Gas, that I really try to inject a lot of humor into these movies, which I think the actors and the audiences really like.
Well, give me a little more sense of the difference, because people will say, oh, this is cookie cutter kind of movie production, but you're saying you bring a specific style. What can you tell me more about what we can look for in some of the movies, the Hallmark movies that you direct?
Well, I think maybe there was a time where that might have been the case, but I think that, the execs I work with Hallmark take this very seriously, and they're trying to evolve the scripts into deeper plot lines, better characters, things that the audience hasn't seen before. I know for me, at least a week of my prep is tirelessly going through the script and making suggestions on changes, working with the creative producers and execs to make them better and better and better. I mean, my theory of filmmaking is every movie I do has to be better than the last one I made. So I painstakingly.
Well, that
try to
accounts
figure
for
out
your
ways to make that
success.
happen.
You've become such a successful movie director based out of Winnipeg. How did all this come together that you connected with the folks with Lifetime and Hallmark?
Well, I directed a movie here in 2002 called Everybody's Doing It, which was for MTV, and absolutely fell in love with the Winnipeg crews and the city. A lot of my mother's family's from here, so I'm quite familiar with it. And when, things were going so well in Saskatchewan, and then out of the blue, the tax credit was cut, it kind of threw everyone for a loop. So, we sort of toil. I kind of was somewhat retired for a couple of years, trying to do other things and find ways to, stay there and remain sane. But after a while, actually, I got a call from a really good friend of mine, Rhonda Baker, asking me if I wanted to come and direct a comedy series called Sunnyside here. So I came back to Winnipeg and directed that show, and it was critically acclaimed, and I had so much fun and just got the film bug. Mm-hmm. And right after that, they asked me to come back and direct a show called The Pinkertons, which is on Netflix, and I just couldn't resist making a change, and so my wife and son agreed that Winnipeg would be a palatable move as opposed to Toronto or Vancouver, and now we're going into this is our end of our fifth year, and it feels like it's been 5 minutes.
Well, it seems like you're having a lot of fun and producing good work as well. And how is it that Winnipeg has become the center? Because many of these movies that you've directed for Hallmark are shot in Winnipeg. How has it become that Winnipeg has become the center for Christmas movies?
Winnipeg had an excellent film commissioner and a woman named, what's her name? Anyway, they had a great film commissioner in the country, Carol Vivier. Mm-hmm. And they did an excellent job of keeping the government in loop and selling the benefits of the film industry, both the economic and creative side of that. Winnipeg has, I think, 4, if not 5 crews now. And frankly, it has the best tax credit maybe in the world. So when you take those things plus a Canadian dollar that's normally hovering around 74 to 75 cents, obviously the Hallmark and Lifetime and anyone else that comes to Manitoba really gets a lot of bang for their buck.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about how these movies, now, are you doing Christmas movies in the summer? Or what is the schedule for that normally?
Every one of them is the same. It's a 3-week pre-production, a 3-week shoot, and a 3-week post-production. They never vary. They're always the same. So it's kind of our job to figure out how to make the best possible movie within those time frames.
And it's shot what time of the year do you usually do these Christmassy movies?
They normally start in the spring, and they all have to get to air by November. So we're normally done shooting in maybe October at the latest. The one I just finished, Snow Kissed, is one of their Winter Festival ones, so that's playing at the end of January, and it's the first non-Christmas one I've done. So that was fun. So
you're in Winnipeg, but summertime shooting for a Christmas movie. That all makes sense to me. I think it does.
Well, yeah. I mean, Radio Christmas was actually shot in February, the first one I did, and we actually had real snow.
Oh.
I mean, there's always challenges. I mean, when you're shooting in winter with actors from Los Angeles and exotic places, they come here and they've never felt, Winnipeg in February, right? Where the crews are quite used to it and comfortable, but it takes a lot of the actors.
Well, it's all one big happy.
I was
just going to say it's one big happy family anyway, so they can handle it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say something else, is that I would really sooner shoot when it's 30 below than 30 above. It's
really?
Just really difficult with all the, because they have to be wearing coats and toques, and it's just really uncomfortable. But this year was actually pretty good. We did have a few really hot days and a few really cold days, but overall winter in Manitoba has been really, really special. It's been the mildest since I've been here.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I'm so happy for your success. And by the way, that Christmas tree, I'm glad you even used a prop for the purposes of this interview, but that has a story to it. What is it?
Well, my brilliant production designer, Mike Mulhall, found out the Bay was closing out and selling all their Christmas stuff. So he went down there and purchased these trees, and they've been a godsend. It's actually, I'm giving away one of my secret weapons, but it's actually a remote control, and it can go from 6 feet to, I think, 10 feet. It's pretty neat. So when we were shooting and we were using all these trees in the background, I can get on my walkie and ask the set decorators to lower the shot. So we can pretty much perfect every shot.
I've never heard of a remote control tree that can, move up and down. That's the first I've heard of that. Well, that's a great thing to have when you're director of a good Christmas movie, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm really proud of the movie that's coming out on the 26th, Project Christmas Wish. I think people are really going to like it. Amanda Schull stars in it from Center Stage. I think you remember that movie. She's wonderful in it. Travis Van Winkle. It's just got a lot of heart and a lot of humor and a lot of lights.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your Christmas stories on the movie set with us. I know there are a lot of fans out there. Now we get to meet one of the key figures behind the camera as well, from Saskatchewan, of course. Jeff, all the best to you and a happy holiday season. And we'll be watching for those Hallmark movies over the Christmas season. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas to you.